welcome to Parent Alienation is Child Abuse Unfiltered. Thank you all for being here today and welcome to the new subscribers. I thank you all and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, I welcome you to do so and hit that little ding dong bell so you don't miss any of my uploads when I release a video. Today I'm going to do a video about moving on. My last video was about dirty tactics that parents use to manipulate their child into behaving a certain way, to give false hope as a way of these children believing if they did what the parent had said, that mum and dad will get back together again. We discussed how much this causes more trauma and damage to the children. Today I'm going to do a discussion about what happens when the parents move on. This can unveil a whole world of trouble for children. Children that are stuck in the middle of a divorce or children stuck in the middle of a separation. And mum and dad have found new people. What happens with the child with that one? Well, lots of things. This child now has to accept a new lady or a new man into their life. Hopefully this person that comes into their life is welcoming and warm to the children. But to the other narcissistic parent, parents don't want the kids to build bonds with these people. They don't want these children to accept them as part of the family. They'll tell their children to be naughty and act up, that you don't have to do what they tell you. She's not your mother. He's not your father. You don't have to listen. One, that's very disrespectful, because if this person is now going to be a permanent part of this child's life, yes, that child does have to listen to that person. Yes, that child has to be respectful to that person. That's just the law of the land. Children don't naturally be disrespectful and hurtful to other people they meet, unless they're prompted by somebody else, or unless that person happens to give off a bad vibe. Some people can give off a vibe to people or to children. Some kids can pick up vibes pretty easy, whether this person's a kid person or whether this person doesn't like kids or don't have any children of their own, so they don't know how to deal with children. This does make it tricky when they start throwing orders around or telling the children what to do. In all relationships, when mum and dad split up and mum and dad find new people, then mum and dad should be the only ones that do disciplining to that child. They shouldn't allow another person to come into their life, especially if it's only been a short while, and demand that child listen to that person, respect that person. These kids don't know who they are. They just know mum's seeing this new fella, or dad's seeing this new girl, and she's bossing me around or telling me to do stuff, and try to be respectful. But dad tells me I don't have to be. Mum tells me I don't have to be. So if they tell me to clean my room up or help with the dishes, then I don't have to say yes. I can just say no, I don't have to. So disrespectful. And there's the confusion of, and I've known a couple of these, that will get their child to call somebody else mum or dad when they've only known them, let's just say 3-4 weeks. I've seen this and heard this happen way before that, where new relationships will start and they'll tell the child, that's your new mummy. Call her mummy, she's your mum. Don't worry about your other mother now, you don't have her anymore, this is your new mum. Oh, this is your new dad. Call him dad, don't worry about your father, he's not your father anymore, he caused too much hurt. Don't have to listen to him anymore, this is your dad now, this is your new dad. Yeah. Have a couple of kids come up and go and introduce their new person in their life and say, this is my new dad. My other dad's bad, this is my new dad. Or this is my new mum. My other mother left me. She didn't like my dad. This is my new mum. Can you imagine the confusion in that kid? Calling some stranger mum, calling some stranger dad, being expected to listen, do what they're told to, by a stranger. Now, I've known some of these people that step into these roles as step-parents. Can be wonderful step-parents. They actually, there are quite a few out there that take on that nurturing and loving role that these kids so desperately require at times like this. The understanding that goes with it all. But then you get the other side that are just as equally as narky as the mother or the father, who's the narc in the relationship, where these people feel it's their right, it's their privilege to be able to order someone else's kid around. Makes them feel all powerful, makes them feel, oh, just go and do as you're told. I am the mighty king, you just listen. I'm the mighty queen, you will do as you're told, you will bow down to me. Yeah, there's a couple of them like that out there. Imagine what that does to a child. When this child's been in a relationship with mum and dad arguing. I've stated before that kids are pretty quick to learn who's the bully in the relationship. And when they've been left by the parent, whether the narcissistic parent's taken them or whether the other parents just cleared out because they just couldn't do it anymore and left the child, which baffles me. I never understand that. But there are situations where that happens and the child's stuck with a narcissistic parent by free will, that this child's now lost its protector. Because the chances are the new person in the relationship, hopefully it's a good one, will protect the child. But there's cases where these people, like I said before, feel mighty powerful about bossing kids around, bullying children, telling the children that your mother didn't love you, telling the children your father didn't love you. Why do you think I'm here? I'm here now. You've got no choice. You're stuck with me. I'm going out with your dad now. I'm the boss. I'm going out with your mother now. You'll listen to me. Imagine the trauma and conflict that's going on in these kids' head. Especially if you've got one parent saying that mum and dad are going to get back together. Just be really naughty to that person. You don't have to listen to what they say. You don't have to. You don't have to do as you're told. You just tell them, you're not my dad. I don't have to listen to you. You're not my mum. I don't have to listen to you. Because this gets said. This gets done. This is what happens. It's a fact. Not all the time, but it's a fact that it happens. And it happens more often than not. And these kids are stuck in the middle of this. These kids are trying to be kids, trying to go to school, trying to learn, trying to make friends, trying to build relationships. But how do you build a relationship when your parents let you down? How do you build a relationship when you're too anxious what's going on at home, that you can't really think for yourself about what you want? You're too worried about what's going on around you. That's the life of what these kids go through. You know, these kids go over to, let's do hypothetically, over to dad's place for a visit. And mum's told them that you don't have to do what you're told over there. You don't have to listen to that new mother or the new lady. You definitely don't have to call them mum, which I totally agree with. You should never get a child to call someone else mother or father. They have one mother, they have one father. Simple. If a child chooses to call the other parent mum or dad by free will, because some kids can form close bonds with these people. Sometimes this pisses the narc off too, because they get jealous of the relationship. Narcissists get jealous of the relationship because in their eyes the world revolves around them, and their child shouldn't love anybody else more than they love their narcissistic parent, be it the mother, be it the father. So sometimes, even though that there's a good person on the opposite side, and your child goes to visit, these parents don't want them really to build close bonds with them. Some kids do, because there's some really lovely people out there that step into the role of the stepmother or the stepfather, take on that relationship and are very nurturing and caring toward the child, which is what the child needs. The child needs someone to understand what they're going through and to be sympathetic with them. Narcissistic parents become jealous of that bond, which is really sad, because a normal person would be happy that the child's happy with the new person in the other person's parents' life. So they would be happy that the parents found someone lovely to move on with and would feel safe and secure with their children going over to visit. If a narc gets involved with another narc, then this is another level of anxiety these children have to face. They don't have to deal with one just narcissistic parents. They've now got a narcissistic step-parent that has basically been given permission to bully them. And that's not fair. But it happens on both sides. I know one mother that was involved with a lovely man. He was a great man. Did all the things you'd like a guy to do. Cook, clean, go to work all blooming day, and then come home, cook tea for you. Good fella. But she was a narc. He was a smart guy. And didn't want to be in that relationship anymore. Unfortunately, they ended up having a child first, because that's one of these ways these narcissistic people work, is to try to entrap people by having children. So she fell pregnant early in the relationship, and the relationship broke down. He didn't want to be involved anymore, wanted to have access to his children and just go on with life. But she wouldn't allow that. No. Stopped holding visits. Moved away to work, left her kids here in the area with his instructions that he was supposed to have visits to see his children, but the other people that were involved, being her relatives, wouldn't allow that, because she'd filled their head full of bullshit. So they made life difficult for this young man, to the extent where he had to go to court to try to fight just to see his children. Well, didn't the shit fight start then? All these allegations came out, all talks about abuse made, all false allegations. Went through court, proved this young man wasn't the person she portrayed him to be, but managed to manipulate the system anyway. Also managed to hook up with another fella, which is fine. Everybody's entitled to move on. Although this fella had a criminal history of domestic violence. So not only was she screaming false allegations of domestic violence in the relationship she got left from, because in that relationship she was the abuser. She was physical, mental, and caused a lot of trauma, not just to him, but to extended families and friends. But when it went to court, she made up all this stuff, made up all the lies about how the extended family were horrible people, how no one ever was involved with the children, how the father was domestic violence toward her, abusive, kept all the money, wouldn't let her have anything. This was all lies. But you can't prove that in a court, because like I've said before, courts are only interested in one-sided story, and they were manipulated into believing what this lady had said. But the end of this story was that she'd found a new partner, and this partner had a criminal history of domestic violence. Had a record, police record, criminal history and police record of domestic violence. The court said that's fine, take the kids. So now she's just exposed her children to someone who has a known history of domestic violence. Now you have to wonder what these children are experiencing, don't you? Because leopards don't change their spots. That's a common phrase I like to use because it's true. Narcissists don't change, not unless they're forced to. And the damage that's done to the children, well, you can only imagine. Because sooner or later she'll start showing her colours. And although she was abusive in one relationship and held all the cards and was kind of the rule the roost kind of a person there, she's now taken on somebody else who is probably her equal, maybe to another level, because they have a history of domestic violence, a criminal history of domestic violence, that are now with this young man's children. So you have to kind of put your mind where, okay, when these kids cry out for their mum or their dad, in this case their dad, what's happening to them? Because the mother was a narc with the previous children to the father of those kids. She would become aggressive and physical with them if they cried out about their parent. So what happens now? What happens when these kids, two lots of kids to two different parents, cry out for their dads to a someone who has known domestic violence? So obviously he's got a short fuse. Obviously he can't contain his emotions, same as the woman he's with now. Good match, them two. Sad match for the children. You just have to wonder how their lives are going. Same thing can happen on the other side of the field where the gentleman moves on, finds another woman. You have to be careful who you let in your life, particularly if you've got children. Well, you're an adult, and most adults can fend for themselves. Children are innocent. Children are innocent and they're not able to fend for themselves. They can't speak for themselves. They can't turn around and tell Dad, Mum was really mean to me and Mum hit me. Because if you've got a narcissistic father, then he's not going to believe that. Or in this particular case where these kids are now left in the hands of people that are known to the courts that have physical violence and aggression, have charges of assaulting police. I mean, I could write a book. But these people have the children. So it baffles you how the court system works, because they're supposed to be looking out for the best interest of the children. And to me, putting a child with known abusers, that's not in the best interest of the child. That's going to screw that kid up. Big time. Particularly if that child's calling out for the other parent. Now the father is left to ponder what happens to his children. Because this person moved far, far away. That's something else that they like to do too. They move far, far away, so it's impossible to have visits. Although she didn't want him to have visits anyway, because she had gone into the court and spewed all this vile bullshit about this person and painted him in a dark light, when actually she should have been looking in the mirror with the words she was saying. So these children, and there's 4 of them that I know of, that are now in a world of confusion, hostility, panic, trauma, anxiety, list goes on. So you've got to wonder how they're going and how their future's going. You really need to be careful, like I said, who you let into your life, particularly if you've got children. Again, it comes down to knowing them first. Get to know them. There's no rush. Keep bringing that up as well. There's no rush. If someone's meant to be with you and cares for you and you care for them, what is the rush? Why do you have to move in together in like 2 or 3 weeks of knowing each other? Force your children to be part of this circle of chaos that you've put onto them, the confusion that you've put onto them. These kids have got to try to go through life and learn, be kids, learn things at school. get along with other people, but their mind's somewhere else. Because the kids I speak about are old enough to remember. They're old enough to remember the abuse that their mother inflicted on the father. And the other children are old enough to remember what this so-called mother did to their father. So another one of them situations, once the kids get older and this person gets older, then she'll be growing old quite alone. And it's her own fault. It's really, really sad that people can't just co-parent. Just like get along. Just for the sake of the child. Don't have to be friends. Don't have to talk to each other every time you see each other. But you can be civil. You can say, hi, how you going? Here's Joe Blow. How's your week been? Or, hi, how you going? Here's Mary Kay. Have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you when you get back. Simple. But the ones that I've had experience with don't do that. The ones that I have experience with just make the children feel uncomfortable every time there's a changeover. Make the children feel like they want to curl up in a little ball and hide because they're not sure what's going to happen between their parents. Because one of them tries to stay civilised and keep the peace for the sake of the child. Where one of them used that peace to say a lot of stuff when they know they're not going to get a response. Not a true response of what wants to be said. Because one person's smart enough not to have adult conversations in front of children. Where the other person is quite willing and frequently has adult conversations in front of children as a way to manipulate the answers, if you know what I mean. Because if they're going to try to keep the peace, hypothetically the mother, they're not going to arc up when this other person starts pushing buttons. Same with the father. They're not going to arc up in front of the children. And these narcissistic people know that. So these narcissistic people just like to be assholes, basically. And they make it seem and they make it sound to the child that it's the other parent's fault. Oh, she's just been uncooperative today. She wouldn't even talk to me. Or he's been an arsehole because he's found out I've got a new partner. Not happy. Because in the narcissistic world, as I've said before, they think the world revolves around them. And they can move on and be happy. But you're not allowed to move on and get happy. How dare you be happy? I'm going to make your life miserable. Yeah. What happens to kids when there's divorce proceedings happening? I had a conversation about that in one of my other videos. How you get these people that like to take half of what you got. Yeah. Even after years. Didn't have the child. Didn't want anything to do with the child. Too out there whoring around. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. But then run out of money. Oh, I think I'll go and take some more of what he's got. We were married, I'm entitled. We're divorced now, but that's okay. We'll go and make an allegation. Have to go to mediation. Oh, mediation's a great thing, isn't it? Courts want you to do mediation before you can go to court. Mediation, in my eyes, sometimes it works, but the times I've experienced, it's a waste of time. Waste of resources and a waste of time, because these narcs aren't going to bend. They're not going to give in. They've got the power. They've got the child. They've got the kid. They hold all the power. They can say what they want, do what they want. You have to bow down to them. And if you don't, well, then no, you're not having my kid. You're not seeing my child. It's mine. It's a piece of property. It's mine. Yeah, mediation. It's supposed to help work things out before you go to court. 90% of the time that I'm aware of, it doesn't work. It's just a waste of time. Because one parent will go in there with a plan, a fair plan, where it's good for everybody. This is usually the smart one, not the narky one. And the narcissist just goes in there with a nope, not doing that, nope, not doing that either, no, I'm not doing that either, I'm not bending at all. My kids, you're not having them. So then you have to go to court. So then what they do, they go to court, they get lawyers. We spoke about lawyers and Child Department Services before. I'm going to do another video about them because, yeah, they screw up a lot of kids' lives on their own. But that's not what this one's about today. But they do go in there, get these people involved in the court proceedings, and these people prompt them and give them ideas on what to say in a roundabout way. Or was there any violence in the family? No. Did he ever touch any of the kids? No. I just don't want him around the kids. Oh, I'm sorry. The judge probably won't let you do that, because unless they feel that there's some safety issue with the child, like he's hit them, or he's touched them inappropriately, or he takes bad drugs, or he's an alcoholic. Although I've known alcoholics and drug addicts to get access to their children as well. But yeah, I'm sorry, if he doesn't have any of that, the judge will probably just say 50-50 custody, which the judge is right doing, because that's how it should be. Not good enough for the narc. Oh, that's right. I do remember he did lay hands on me. He did. Yes. We got into an argument once, and he pushed me. I had my hands around his throat, but he pushed me off of it. But he touched me. Oh, okay. We can write that down. Yes, that's domestic violence. We can use that. Have you ever seen him inappropriate with the children? Yeah. He was in the shower. He was bathing the children, and the children were naked. Christ. The children were naked in the bath, and the dad was in there bathing them. Oh, we could probably twist that around a little bit and make it sound a little bit more gross. He touched them somewhere, or or dried them funny or something. We can use that. So they prompt these people to say stuff that's not true as a way to make the other parent look bad in front of a judge. What a great parent. What a great parent. Again, it's going to be one of them things that's going to come back and bite them in the ass when the kids get older and start asking questions. And we've said before that this happens. Most times these kids grow up and they start searching for the truth. A lot of kids are old enough to remember. I remember the arguments at home, to remember the hostility at home, remember who the bully was at home. They remember. Parents think they're stupid. They think because they're kids don't remember. They're only kids, and she was only 3. How can she remember me throwing a saucepan at her father? How can he believe that she scratched my face when we were arguing one time? Kids remember. They see. It's like a sponge. They see and they absorb everything, and they know who it is. And unfortunately, a lot of these people end up with these children to cause more hurt, more damage. The emotional scars that these children will now face for the rest of their life. Trust issues that they will now have because of a narcissistic parent that couldn't move on. So let's talk about what should happen when you're moving on from a relationship and develop another relationship with somebody else. How should you co-parent? Together. Your focus should be on your child. Your focus should be 100% on that child. 100% on the child's schoolwork, 100% making sure that child's well adjusted. Make sure that child does not blame themselves for the marriage breakdown or the relationship breakdown, because as I've stated before, a lot of these kids do blame themselves for the relationships breaking down. I was probably too naughty and that's why Dad left. I didn't clean up my room properly when I was asked, and that's why Mum gone. It's my fault. If I'd just done that, then they probably would have stayed. Yeah. And sometimes these narcissistic people feed into that insecurity in a child. Yeah, it was your fault. If you'd been better and done what you told, Mum would have walked out the door. Or if you had cleaned your room and made your bed and did better at school, Dad wouldn't have left. There's parents that throw the shit at kids. The co-parent together is would be bliss for that child. Invite them to watch activities at school together, because the kids would feel so proud to have both parents participate in things together without the hostilities. Birthday parties, a Father's Day, Mother's Day, like be equally as excited as the child is to pick a gift out for the other parent even though you're not together. Because your relationship didn't work out with that person, don't tarnish it for the child. that child loves that other parent just as much as that child loves you. If you're trying to put a wedge between your parents, then it's going to backfire. That wedge will kick you out that door when you're old, and that kid will not want anything to do with you. And they're in their right to do that because you betrayed them because of your own selfishness. So, again, just like take some time. Take time to get to know each other. Think of the child. Everybody's allowed to be happy. Everybody's allowed to be happy. Mum finds a new man. He's a great man. He does good stuff with the kids. They go out all the time. He plays activities in the yard with them. Dad's found a new lady. She's wonderful. She helps us. She lets me help cook and I help her around the house, and she's really nice. She reads us stories at bedtime. I really like her. You can go and tell that to a narc and they'll somehow make that sound bad because the kids can't be happy. Can't be happy without the narky parent in the picture, can they? But kids aren't little forever. You can't control them forever. You can't have power over them forever. They get older, they get free will. They learn to find their voice. They learn to ask questions. They'll figure it out. And then won't you look stupid? All the lies you've told over the years. Yeah, I said years. I said years because that's how long it takes sometimes for these children to come back into their other parent's life. They've been robbed of that bond from the other parent. In my next video, I'm going to do a talk about breaking bonds. Because children develop close bonds with a lot of people, particularly when they're little. They have a close bond with mum and dad. That's just natural because that's mum and dad. But these kids also have bonds with grandma, grandpa, or nan and pop, uncles, aunties, nieces, nephews, cousins. There's a whole list of people that these children have bonds with. And when the narc decides to call it quits, move far, far away, so these kids don't have any access to any of the other family, only the narcissistic side of the family. And these aren't always good people either, because the narc's got to learn narkiness from somewhere, don't they? So these kids are stuck until they get older. Comes back again to don't rush stuff. Take your time. Just let kids be kids. Let them just enjoy their childhood. Don't enforce or force adult things onto a kid. They got enough on their plate. Growing up's tough. If you can remember back when you're a child yourself, then growing up's tough. Going to school's a bit tough. You got to learn, make friends. Occasionally there's a bully at school that will hassle you. Every school's got some bully. Kids need to be taught how to deal with people like that. It comes back to learning life skills. But these kids are just robbed of a happy, productive future because they've got a hole inside them that's been forcibly removed by the narcissistic parent. By the hole inside them, I mean the gap by not having their extended family and the rest of their family involved in their lives, particularly if these children had strong bonds with these other people. And the ones I'm talking about did have strong bonds. But that pissed the narky off too, didn't it? Narcissists don't like the kids getting closer to anybody or looking like they're happy with anybody else. This pisses them off big time. And the kids pay that price. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here today. Thank you all again for being here. The new subscribers, I welcome you all. Thank you. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, I welcome you to do so. Let's keep moving this. Let's grow. We can do this. The more that I can get on board, the more that I can get a message to. Hopefully wake up a few narcissistic people on their behaviour and what they're doing. And hopefully they might rethink what they're doing for the sake of the child. Anyway, my next video is going to be on about breaking bonds. So if you're interested in that one, stay tuned, hit that little ding dong bell so that you get a notification when it comes up. And got a whole lot more other subjects I'm going to be discussing. There's a whole range of stuff that goes with this narcissistic parenting and parent alienation. It is child abuse. It's about time it was recognised for what it is. About time the courts take on board these narcissistic parents that they're doing the damage to their child. Because any child abuse case, these people want to jump on board and save the kid. In the world of parent alienation, that's not the case. They bounce you around the court. No one wants to talk about it. That's a civil matter. No, it's a family matter. It's child abuse. These kids are being abused mentally by the parents that are supposed to care for them. And the courts allow this to happen. So the court system needs to change. They need to deal with parent alienation in the family court where they deal with all the other children's matters. It's not a civil matter. This is a family matter. This affects families. It affects the children of these families that have their lives changed. And the court system allows this to happen. Anyway, I'll leave it there for today. I'll catch you in my next one. Stay safe, everybody. Keep smiling. See ya.